Hey guys, it's Marc Ventura here, hope you're well. Today I wanted to talk to you about minimum deposits. I see so many clients that have been to a bank or a broker or done online research, and they're incredibly confused around the minimum deposit they need to get started to purchase their home. And generally it can be a real stomach block, because a lot of people, when they hear the numbers around like 10, 15, 20% deposit, or it could be 70, 80, $90,000, $100,000, they tend to freak out and think, geez, I'm never going to be able to do this, how hard is it? But today I wanted to show you how realistic it actually is, and I want to show you the actual minimum deposit that you need to get started, so that you can see how achievable it is. With just a little bit of work, you can really make it happen. So what I'm going to run you through in this video is a bit of an example. I'm going to go through two examples based on a $500,000 purchase. So let's say it's a $500,000 house and land package and a $500,000 established home, just to show you what the minimum deposits are to get started. So I'm going to get into it now. I'm going to start showing you. So let's say we're looking at a house and land package of $500,000. The minimum deposit that we need is 5% of the purchase price. So I'm going to put that down here. So 5% is $25,000. Now, when we're dealing with the 5% deposit, banks can be a little bit stringent with the 5%. They want to see that you've saved it regularly over a period of a minimum of 3 months. They want to see that you meet what they call genuine savings. Now, it's either you've built it up over a minimum of 3 months or longer, which is awesome, or you could have got that money in a gift, could have fallen off the back of the truck, goes in your account today, and then sits there for 3 months and then becomes your genuine savings. And that's what we need to really meet around the 5% deposit. Now, there's a couple of other expenses that banks will need to see that you've got some money for. So the first thing is stamp duty. So depending on the type of buyer that you are, if you're a first-home buyer, stamp duty is going to be zero. If you're a second-home buyer, in this scenario where it's a house and land package, you're only going to pay, or it could even be an off-the-plan purchase, like an apartment off the plan or townhouse that isn't built yet. You're only going to pay stamp duty based on the land component. So for a first-home buyer, that stamp duty is going to be zero. If you're a second-home buyer or purchasing off the plan, if you're a second-home buyer, then you're only going to pay stamp duty on the land component. Now, let's say that this block of land is worth $250,000. Then the stamp duty that you'll pay is going to be roughly around sort of $7,000 to $8,000 for that second home buyer. Now, there's two other sort of fees that we really need to be aware of. One is for conveyancing fees. So a conveyancer is someone that helps to transfer from you guys, from who owns it now, to yourselves. And we need to really factor in about $1,000 for those sort of conveyancer and solicitor fees. And the last fee that we really need to take into account is mortgage insurance. Now, depending on the bank that you deal with, some banks will cover a lot of the mortgage insurance costs, others will only cover a smaller portion of the mortgage insurance cost. Now, in this scenario, I'm really working here on something called a 95% loan. So the mortgage insurance we need to factor in is roughly around the sort of $15,000 mark that we need to have available in this scenario. So if I put $15,000 in there for mortgage insurance, we're looking at roughly, if it was for a first home buyer, we're looking at 25, 26, we're looking at around sort of $41,000. If we're a second home buyer, we're looking at 40, probably more like $48,000, $49,000 as the minimum deposit that we need at the end of the day. Now, if we're doing this as an established home, so this was a house and land sort of scenario, if we're doing it as an established home, again, 5% is the minimum deposit that we need, which is $25,000. If you're a first home buyer, there's no stamp duty. If you're a second home buyer, stamp duty is going to be based on the whole value. And that's potentially where this can be essentially another $25,000 in stamp duty for that second home buyer. We'll also need to factor in the conveyancing fees of about $1,000. And we'll also then need to, very similar to this situation, we'll need to factor in the mortgage insurance costs. Again, this is roughly a 95% loan scenario, so we'll need to factor in another sort of $15,000. So in this scenario, again, if you're a first-time buyer, you're looking at roughly still around that sort of $41,000 mark. If you're a second home buyer, you're looking at 25, 50, 51. We're looking at roughly sort of 66,000 is the minimum deposit. Now there's one thing I haven't touched on here. If you're a first home buyer doing a house and land package or an off the plan purchase, you're also going to get $10,000 for the first home owners grant. So what that means is that this actually becomes $31,000. If you're a first home buyer doing an established property, you actually will just get the 0 discount. You won't receive the first home owners grant. So I hope this video has been really educational, helpful, and clarifying, just showing exactly what you need to get started. Now obviously your income and financial situation will determine whether the bank approves a loan, but this is all about giving you clarity around the minimum deposits that we need to get you started. So I hope it's been helpful. If there's any questions you got, please don't hesitate to reach out and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.